Start in a seat, maybe sitting up on a blanket. You can use a block, whatever feels best to you. And you might decide to close your eyes or just find a point down in front of you for your gaze. And just begin to tune in. Notice how your body feels. So invite a sense of observing with maybe a sense of curiosity. And just sort of notice what's going on in your body right now. Even if there's areas of discomfort, tightness, tension, just notice what you're experiencing right now. And then just invite your hips and legs and feet to relax into the support beneath you, almost like you're sort of sinking towards the earth. Maintain that nice tall spine. And invite your shoulders to relax as if they're dripping away from your ears. Begin to tune into your breath. Maintain a nice, tall, regal spine. Notice how long your inhale is. And just breathing in and out through your nose. Elongate your exhale about 2 counts or even more, longer than your inhale. So if your inhale is 4 seconds, your exhale might be 6 seconds. If it feels comfortable to do so, you might want to elongate the exhale even twice as long as your inhale, as long as there's no strain. So again, inhale and exhale through your nose. Keep your breath nice and easy and smooth. And then if your eyes are closed, gently open your eyes. And as you inhale, reach your arms out and up. Hands touch. And exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Remember, this is your practice. Always listen to your body, listen to your breath, and find variations as you need to. Again, inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, lower your right hand down beside you. Reach up through your left arm. And as you exhale, come into a side bend over to your right. You might lift your gaze, you might look straight ahead, or you might release your neck and look down. Find any variation that works best for you. On your next inhale, come back upright. Lower your left hand down. Inhale, reach up through your right arm. And then side bend over to your left. Breathe here. Choose your gaze. And then inhale, come back up and lower your hands and arms down. Transition off of whatever you're sitting on and bring yourself into table pose. Press gently into your hands, inviting a sense of grounding through your hands and maybe through the tops of your feet and knees. And then inhale, drawing your heart forward into cow. Exhale, draw your belly in, look to your knees for cats. Find your variation, warming up your spine. Notice how this feels. Move at your own pace. And then come back to neutral table. You might bring your hands a little further forward on your mat if you were near the back of your mat, so that you have room behind you. So extend your right leg back. Stay on the ball of the right foot and press your heel back, starting to get a stretch into the back of that right leg, into the hamstrings, calf, and ankle. And then lift that leg up about hip height. Press through your heel. Engage your leg, your glute, and your core. You can either stay here or reach your left fingertips forward, maybe onto the floor or a block, or extend your left arm out parallel to the floor. Looking straight down, find your variation for pointer dog. Notice the challenge. And then lower your left hand down and bend your right. So just sort of hovering your right knee over your mat. Start to move that knee in a circle, just getting into the hip joint a little bit. And then reverse direction. And then lower that knee down. Extend your right leg out to the right of your mat, so your right foot is flat on the floor, sort of in line with your left knee. And just a little movement forward and back. Notice how that feels in your inner thigh and hip. And then pause. You might bring the foot in a little closer. You can bend the knee a little or lift that hip up as you would like. Move your left hand an inch or two forward on your mat, and then inhale your right arm up, coming into a twist. So press into your left hand gently and your right foot a little bit, so you feel that connection with the earth as you reach up and extend through your top arm. Breathe here. And then lower that right hand down. You might slide your right foot out a little further here. And inhale, twist to your left. So your left arm and right leg are extended sort of like wings as you ground into your right hand. And of course, your left knee is on the mat and your right foot on the floor. And then exhale, lower that left hand down. Reach for a block and come down onto your forearms. Position the block either at the low or medium setting. I like it at the medium setting for this. Elbows in slightly wherever they make sense to you, and rest your forehead on the block. So if it's too much in your inner thigh, you can bring the foot in closer and bend the knee, lifting your right hip up a little bit. So while you're getting this stretch in your inner thigh, you're relaxing the upper back and shoulders. Come back to your breath and elongate your exhale. Noticing that exhale pause. Your neck should feel comfortable here. And then inhale, bring yourself back up. Set your block aside. And take that right foot all the way behind you and over to the left edge of your mat. Staying on the ball of the foot, look over your left shoulder towards that back foot. And then bring your torso back to neutral. And extend your left foot back. Stay on the ball of the foot and press through your heel. So you're getting a little stretch into the back of that leg and ankle. And then lift that leg up about hip height. Press through your heel, toes point towards the mat. Core is active, leg is active, glute is active. And then find your variation for pointer dog on this side. Again, your hands might reach forward onto a block, or you might lift that right arm up parallel to the floor. Find whatever variation for your pointer dog works best for you today. Gaze down. And if that arm is lifted, bring it back down, both hands on the mat, and rebend that left knee. You might move over to the right of your mat so you have more room on the left side. And hovering your left knee, start to come into some knee circles. Getting into your left hip joint a little bit. And then reverse direction. Lower that knee down. And then extend your left leg out to the left of your mat, left foot flat on the floor in line with your right knee. A little bit of movement forward and back. Notice how that feels in your inner thigh and hip. And then move your right hand forward on your mat slightly and inhale your left arm up for a twist to your left. You can bring that left foot in a little closer as you need to. Breathe here, feeling that expansiveness across your heart as you stay grounded with your right hand and left foot on the mat or floor. And of course, your right knee is down as well. On your next exhale, thoughtfully lower that left hand down and slide that left foot out a little further if you would like. And inhale, twist to your right. So that right arm may not go as far out to twist as your left. Just notice how this feels. Extending through your right arm and left leg like wings. And then thoughtfully lower your right hand down. Bring a block right about under your nose. Lower down onto your forearms and support your head on that block. So again, still getting a stretch into that inner thigh. If this doesn't work for you, feel free to bend that knee and come back into kneeling if it's too much. But you might just adjust a little with the left leg bent and the foot in a little closer. Just find what works best for you. Forehead to the block. Notice your breath. Relax your upper back and shoulders as you breathe here. Elongating your exhale and notice the exhale pause. One more breath here. And then thoughtfully start to press your way back up onto your hands. Take that left leg behind you, all the way over to the right edge of your mat, maybe onto the floor. And look over your right shoulder towards that back foot. Getting a stretch along the left side body. And inhale, coming back. And then widen your knees. Toes can touch. And sit your hips back for child's pose. If your forehead doesn't quite make it to the mat, you can use your hands, maybe like this, or a block. So find what variation feels best to you. Arms might be straight, or you can bend the arms, resting the forearms on the mat. Just make sure your head is supported and that it feels comfortable to you. Invite your hips to be heavy. They may or may not make it all the way to your heels. That's okay. Make sure your knees feel okay. Knees can be wide or closer in, whatever works best for you. Notice your breath. Elongate your exhale and notice the pause at the bottom of your exhale. On your next inhale, lift your head. Might come onto your forearms, lift your hips, bring your knees closer in together, and then make your way all the way onto your belly for Sphinx pose. Set aside any props you don't need. Bring your elbows just about under your shoulders. Forearms are parallel. Press down into your hands and forearms, like you're trying to almost pull yourself forward on your mat. Press into the tops of your feet or your legs. Engage the upper back and shoulder girdle, as if you're energetically drawing your heart forward. Lengthen your neck. Ears reach away from your shoulders. Gaze towards the top of your mat or in between your thumbs. Imagine you're creating space between each vertebrae. Draw the lower ribs slightly away from the mat as you breathe here. Now here in Sphinx, just keep your inhale and exhale more even. So instead of elongating the exhale, the breath will be more of an even count for both inhale and exhale. And then on your exhale, relax. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Elbows point towards your heels. And we'll do Bhujangasana, Cobra. So on your inhale, press up into Cobra. Might be just a very little Cobra. Brief pause at the top of your inhale. And then exhale, lower down. 2 more times. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. And then elbows out. Stack your hands and rest your head on the back of your hands in Makrasana. So release all effort here. Relax completely. Let your whole body just release any tension. Imagine with each exhale, you're just melting into your mat. You might feel your belly press into the mat as you inhale. And as you exhale, just really soften, letting your body take up as much space on the mat as feels comfortable to you. On your next inhale, lift your head, bring your hands under your shoulders, and press up into table pose. Lengthen through your spine, tuck your toes, and reach your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Taking your heart in the direction of your toes. You might bend your knees a little bit and ground into your hands and feet, pressing down into the knuckles of your hands and fingers, grounding into the earth. Elongate your exhale. Notice the pause at the bottom of your exhale. Keep the back of your neck long. Externally rotate the upper arms, creating more space around your neck and upper trapezius. And then lower your knees down. Bring your blocks. So hands on blocks, maybe the medium setting. Step 1 foot forward. Tuck the back toes. And step your other foot forward. Tip your blocks forward and come up into a halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Nice length through your spine. Draw your belly in. And then you might bend the knees a little bit as you hinge from your hips to come deeper into a forward fold. Uttanasana. Lengthen your neck. If you're deep enough into the fold, you might bring your belly closer to your thighs and be able to release your neck and upper back and shoulders. Just an option. So make sure you're maintaining length in your spine, drawing the belly in slightly to protect your low back. Press into the balls of your feet. So pressing into the earth with your feet, and your hands can press gently into the earth, either on the mat or through your blocks. Notice your breath, elongating your exhale, and again notice the pause at the bottom of your exhale. On your next inhale, come up just halfway. Bring your hands onto your blocks. You might tip the blocks up to the highest level. And pause. Elongate through your spine. And then start to shift your gaze a little bit further in front of your toes. Bend your knees. Bring your hands onto your thighs. Look forward. On your next inhale, press into your feet. Come all the way up and bring your hands together at your heart. So if you ever feel lightheaded, press your hands together more firmly and squeeze your glutes. Ground into your feet. And then release your hands, coming into your mountain pose Tadasana. So you might lift your toes, spread your toes, and lower them back down. Press down into all 4 corners of your feet, feeling that connecting with the earth. Legs activate. Lift your inner arches as you hug your outer ankles in. Take the front of your thighs gently back as you ground your sits bones towards the earth. Lengthen through your spine, inviting that sense of openness across your upper chest. Rooting down and rising up for your mountain pose. And then relax. Shake it out a little bit. Take a wide stance on our mat, starting with your feet parallel, maybe 2.5 feet wide. And then bring your heels in, toes out, and bend your knees. Make sure your knees are going in the same direction as your toes and that this feels okay in your hips and knees. Hands to your heart. So this is goddess pose. And we'll find a little bit of movement here. Inhale, reach your arms out and up. And exhale, hands touch, rebend your knees, come back into goddess. If you need to, adjust the position of your feet or don't go as deep, just listen to your body. Again, inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, rebend your knees, return to goddess. Press into your feet gently. Again, inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Come back into goddess. And then goalpost arms, fierce goddess. Breathe here. You can do it. It's getting challenging. On your next inhale, straighten your legs, straighten your arms. 5-pointed star, maybe reaching up through your heart as well, lifting your gaze, spreading your hands and arms, rooting through your feet as you spread in 5 directions. Breathe here. And then lower your arms, parallel your feet. Pause for a moment. And then turn your right foot towards the short end of your mat and bend your right knee. Adjust your stance where it feels comfortable to you. You might take that left heel slightly back. Hips are at a little bit of an angle. Front knee just about in line with that ankle. Make sure it doesn't go past the ankle. So breathe here. Shoulders just about over your hips. And extend your arms out about shoulder height. Gaze over your front fingertips and ground into your feet. Feel that connection with the earth. Lengthen through your spine and watch your breath. Breathing in and out through your nose. Just notice if your inhale and exhale are more even or if your exhale is longer. Just notice. And then bring your hands to your hips. Tip your hips forward. So with your right fingertips right at that hip crease, you might feel as you bring your hips forward, you get a little squeeze or hug into that right hip crease. Squeezing your fingers. And then bring that right forearm onto your front thigh. Lengthen through your right side body. Left arm might come alongside your top ear. Nice line of energy from the crown of your head to your back heel. Ground into your feet. Core is active, spine is long, lengthening along your left side body. Couple breaths here. Any variation with that top arm that works for you. And then inhale, rise up. Turn that right foot in, lower the arms. Pause for a moment. Notice difference between left and right. And then turn your left foot away from you towards the short end of the mat. Bend your left knee. Take your right heel slightly back if you would like. Finding your position here, ground through your feet. Hips are at about 45 degrees, shoulders over your hips, arms come up about shoulder height. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Breathe here. Feel your legs working. Always make your stance shorter or longer. If you want more challenging, you can have a longer stance, less challenge, shorter stance. Notice your breath. And then bring your hands to your hips. Tip the hips forward. Maybe feel that little hug. Your front fingers getting a little hug in that hip crease. Bring your left forearm to that front thigh, right arm alongside that top ear, palm turning away from you towards the back. Core is active, spine is long. Root into your feet as you lengthen through your spine. Left side body is long. Breathe here. Find your variation. On your next inhale, come all the way up. Turn your feet in parallel, lower your arms. Heel toe. Bring your feet back into a Tadasana and pause. Ground into your feet. Notice sensation. Root down into the earth. Notice your breath. Then bring your blocks so they're closer to the long edge of your mat. And take another wide stance. We're going to come into wide leg forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Hands at your hip crease. Take an inhale. Nice lengthen your spine, hinging forward. Bring your hands onto your blocks at whatever setting makes sense to you. And pause here. Make sure your hips and ankles are in alignment. Lengthen through your spine. You might stay here. This might be where you want to be. Or hinging from your hip crease, maybe bringing your hands to the mat. Keep your spine long. Coming into the pose where it makes sense to you. And once you've found your position here, consider, just an option, consider using the blocks at whatever position works for you to support your head. So you might use 2 blocks at a variety of positions. Keep your hands on the mat for stability. Neck is long and it should feel comfortable for your head. So you might just use 1 block if you're able to go a little deeper. If you can go lower, you might lower the block and be more towards the top of your forehead rather than the front of your forehead. And to make it just a little fine-tuned, if you feel like you're almost where it's comfortable, you might toe heel the feet in a little wider or in a little closer, just to find what feels best to you. Keep your hands on the mat and make sure your head is supported. So if you can't support your head on blocks, you can also use a chair or a stool that's about that height, maybe about 2 feet high, and rest your arms on the chair and then your head on your arms. So that's another variation if you're using a chair. Find what works for you. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Make sure your hands are still helping to support you. Press into your feet, keeping your legs active. On your next inhale, come up halfway. Pause. Either hands on the floor or your mat or the blocks. Pause here at the halfway point, and we're going to make our way back down onto the mat instead of coming all the way back up. So heel toe your feet in a little closer, and then when you're ready, lower down onto one knee and then the other, and make a thoughtful transition to a seat. Sit on a blanket if you would like, and just pause. Notice sensation. So we're going to continue to find some calming poses. Hello, Miss Zoe. She's coming to check out the heater. So extend your legs out in front of you and bend your right knee. Cross your right foot over the left leg. Keep your left leg active, toes to the sky. And take your right hand back for support. And left hand to the outer right leg. So find what works best for you here. Inhale, lengthen through your spine, and exhale, twist to your right. Breathe here. And again, notice your breath. If it's easier to extend the exhale, just notice what feels best. On your next inhale, unwind and straighten that right leg. Notice any differences between left and right. And then bend your left knee. Cross your left foot over your right leg. Keep your right leg active, toes to the sky. Left hand goes behind you for support. Right hand to the outer left knee. Lengthen through your spine as you inhale. And exhale, twist to your left. Again, watch your breath. And if your exhale is longer than your inhale, notice your exhale pause. And then inhale, unwind, coming back to center and straighten that left leg out. You might want a blanket to sit on, and you might want your blocks handy in front of you. And coming into a more relaxed sort of butterfly pose here. So you might bring the blocks closer and use them as armrests and rest your head on the back of your hands. So find some support for your head if you can, encouraging a little bit more calm into your body and mind. And we'll be here for a few more breaths. Just find your variation. And then thoughtfully as you inhale, bring yourself back upright. Set any blankets aside. Maybe bringing a blanket over your hips or covering yourself with a blanket if you prefer. Make sure you feel comfortable, warm enough. And as you settle in for your final resting pose, invite your whole body to be heavy and soft. Let your legs be heavy. Release and relax your hips. Relax your whole back, inviting space between each vertebrae. Soften your shoulders and arms. Let your head be heavy. Relax your jaw. Soften all the muscles in your face, especially around your eyes, inviting the outer corners of your eyes to drip gently towards the earth. Soften your belly and soften the area around your heart. And let go. Gently bring your awareness back to being on your mat. Notice your body. Notice your breath. And observe your mind. Whenever you feel ready, begin to make small movements, wiggle fingers, toes, whatever would delight you. Eventually bend one knee and then the other, rolling over to your right side or whichever side you prefer. Support your head with your bottom arm or a prop. And when you're ready, slowly press your way back up to a comfortable seat, maybe keeping your eyes closed. And with appreciation for your efforts and your focus, bring your hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today for this grounding and calming practice. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you. And if you enjoyed this practice, please remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Check out some of the other videos, and I look forward to seeing you next time on the mat.